So we'll be replacing the lock actuator for the Mark V Golf. Mine's a 2006 model. We'll start off by undoing these screws on the side of this door. So there's a trimmy that you need to take off. You can just pry that open, and we'll take these two screws off and just the rest as they go down the door trim. And there's a few more at the bottom over here, all the way across, and there's a few more over here. There's 6, I think, on this side. You will need I think it's a T20 Torx, and that'll do the job. I've left one Torx bit in. That's so the door panel doesn't fall off as I undo the ones on this side. So you might want to do that just to be extra safe. These two are called the Spline bits. You'll need to buy a kit from eBay or your local auto shop to open these, because a regular Torx screw will not fit them. To undo these, you'll need an M6 spline bit, and I have one here. I'll just put that, there we go. Twist that till it comes loose. Just take it off. Now this bit is holding the actual actuator on. I don't think you need to take it off until you take this door panel off, but I'll just do it now so I can get over and done with. So when I remove the door panel, the actual actuator will be freed up, so I can just remove it. Now after you've undone most of these Torx bits, there will be one more inside there. You will need to turn that anti-clockwise. Just get that loosened up so we can take this part off, as there is one more screw located beneath this door handle, and we'll get to that later on. Now, unlike the rear actuator, I can't get to this using my normal Torx bits because they're not thin enough. I have to use this Allen key, which I found in my toolkit, and that's how I will try and undo this bit inside there. Now, I will show you how the left actuator looks like, so you know how to get to that one. So we are at the back door. We'll just take this trim off. And as you can see, this one has a wider opening than the front door one, and I can get to this by using just a regular tool here, and see, just through there, and you can get to that bit and just turn it anti-clockwise. We'll just put this back together and move on to the front part. Now once you've turned this as far as you can, it will make a clicking noise, as you will hear. There you go. That means it's been fully turned, so it can't be turned any further than that. And then we can just take this part off. Just pull it, and there you go. Here's this part. After you take that bit off, we'll just have to take this cable off over here. Just get a flathead screwdriver and push that up, and there you go. That's out. After that's been taken out, we'll have to take this part off. So if I remember correctly from changing my left hand side actuator, we'll have to push this to the right and then pull it out. Now after you move this to the right and then pull it out, it should look something like this. It should stay in that position. Then all you need to do is move that outside. There we go. Now for the funnel screw, you'll need a T20, and we'll just take that off as well. Then we'll be able to remove the entire door panel. After that's been removed, we'll just take off the remaining Torx. So that I removed any remaining Torx bits, we'll just have to take this panel off, this whole thing. And to do that, you just need to hold it from both sides and lift it up and pull it out. One thing I forgot to mention, make sure that you have the window all the way up. So I forgot to do that, and I had to reconnect the battery terminal so I can move this up so I can start working on the car again. Now to get to the actuator, which is behind this plastic cover, we'll need to take this off. To do that, we'll just have to remove this elastic band, and this should just pull off to the left and then just pull it out. Or that works. This part should easily come out. If it doesn't, just push it from here as you pull from this side, and it should just disconnect. Now after this, we'll just have to disconnect this cable and this wiring harness. To remove the wiring harness, just get a flathead screwdriver and put it in here and just push that out, and it should work. I found that was easier to remove this part from here and then take this off, because that gives you more room to work with. So after you remove this, make sure you take this part off and attach that to your new module, and then we can take the new module and just put it back in place. Okay, now that this is in, we'll just put this back here the same way we took this off, but just work your way backwards, and that should get everything done and put into place, including the housing. To take the housing off, there's just like some bits that fall into place in here, and it's pretty easy to take off. It's very malleable, so you can just move around and take it off. Now, to give you an idea on how to put this together, you need to put that part in there, put that in, and that in. That should happen easily. And then this metallic part should be sticking out of here. Now, don't forget to put this cable out before you do any of those, so just make sure that's here. If you forget, it's pretty easy to take this back off and put it back in, so it's not a big deal. For this part, just connect that piece of harness into here, and then put that in there. Then you should be good to go. And then just put that there. Now, to test whether your new module works before you start putting everything together, you can just put that back where it belongs and then add the spline bits here, just there and there. Don't do them up too tightly, just enough so you can hold in place, and then close your door, connect your battery terminal, and then you can try and opening it. Worst case scenario, it doesn't open, just pull that and it should open the door. Okay, so I've connected the battery and I'll try and lock the door and see if it opens. Okay, that's working fine. And now we'll try and lock it. There we go. The unit works perfectly. That's fine. We can start putting everything back together now. Then you can put this in, make sure the elastic band is over this little bit over there. And that should fit in nicely. And then you can attach the door panel, which I will do that next. And then we'll attach the screws. And then the door handle. While you still have everything opened up, you might want to get a damp cloth and just clean that part of your window if you'd like. After you add the door panel, just make sure that you attach some of the Torx screw bits. So just put one there, then put two more in. So one up there and one more down here. Now that's for when you're adding the door handle, the actual panel won't move around. And I'm only attaching 3. That's just in case I might have forgotten something. I can just take all 3 off instead of taking every single bit off, without having to go through all that much work. Now, before we start attaching this to the door, just make sure that you add the one screw that's supposed to go there, and then we can move on. So just to give you an idea of what this is supposed to look like, I haven't put that all the way in, just so you know how it should look like after you do put it in. This has to go in between that, right? So see that groove over there at the bottom, and there's one at the top as well. These two have to go inside those. So just keep that in mind as you're trying to put this in place. So just to give you an idea of what this should look like, the screw shouldn't be able to be seen from there, and that has to sit right there. See that in that little black guide? That's from the bottom view. And that's from the top. That's how it's supposed to look like. And you're pulling on the cable to open the door. There we go. So after you've put this in, now it's time to put this in, right? And in order to put this in, you can't just push that through, because it won't fit, because that's getting in the way. You have to pick that up a bit, and there you go, that makes room for it, and you can push it in. There we go. After that's done, just get your Allen key and just turn that clockwise. That should be good. Don't over tighten that. It should be just enough. check. Yep, that's good. And that should be in place. There we go. And that's in. Now all we need to do is put the screws back in, then put the trim on, and that should be good.